you're good. Go ahead. You do what you need to do.
Starting to get in some heavier steers, getting to where they need to be as far as from a finish standpoint. Steers that have some muscle and some size and some growth to them. You really start to like the type of cattle we're seeing out here from a production standpoint. Steer we're going to start out with, maybe not the most eye-appealing from a profile in this particular class, but I think the most natural thickness from end to end, the widest base, the widest tracking, correct in his finish. A steer you have to really admire for the way he's put together. Steer we have in second probably is the eye-appealing steer from a profile. I mean, he just catches your eye when he's on the profile. He's just long-fronted. He's straight down his top. He's he's got the finish that he needs. He's got the natural thickness that he has. Two really nice steers to start this particular class, and those two, you can flip-flop them around a little bit. I guess I'm a muscle guy. I like the red steer from a muscle standpoint. If you're somebody that likes it maybe a little bit prettier, then you're probably going to run with the Hereford in this particular class. But two really nice steers to start this particular class. Another Hereford steer in third, a steer that you really like the performance that steer has and the correctness that he has. A steer I guess I'd just like to see be a little bit thicker, a little bit stouter made from end to end to compete with the two steers we have ahead of him in this particular class. The red steer, a really big performance steer, a steer that has some natural thickness and carries that down. I just like to free him up. He really likes to knuckle and really struggle maybe a little bit around that ring as he gets around the ring. Again, I know they're to their end point. I know he's been a pretty good doing steer. He looks like he's fed well, but it's still we want him to get around and we want him to be sound on those feet and legs. The black steer, another steer, just a real nice production-oriented type of steer, has some finish, has some muscle. A steer just maybe doesn't have the balance and the eye appeal that some of the steers we have ahead of him in this particular class, but a real production-oriented. He's going to be a nice carcass steer in this particular group. The two steers we kind of round out the class with, bigger outline type of steers, steers that maybe aren't quite as far along as far as from a muscle standpoint or a finish standpoint to compete with the steers up the line today, but two really nice big growthy steers to wrap up the class. Good job.
First blue exhibited by Olivia Wampel, second blue exhibited by Sydney Spade. Next we'll be moving into market class number 5, and there's 9 entries in this class.
Again, you're watching coverage of the 2023 Northern Wisconsin State Fair beef shows. We had a big internet crash. That is why we lost our stream. But looks like we're back. So again, we apologize for that. Again, brand new building. We're still working out some of the bugs here, but we are back after getting. We lost our connection to the Wi-Fi, and that's why. But now everything seems to be back to normal, which is a good thing. We'll kind of keep an eye on it. But as we continue on with our market classes, 9 in this class, so we're going to have a lot of. We're going to have somebody up close and personal. We're going to have some steers up close and personal now.
That's what happened last year. The undisputed mom field with you. They're homebred.
We're going to see if we can't get Jenna back over here.
And they're fed this season.
Hey, Jenna.
Obviously, we have a couple of. My name is Gina.
I'm sorry, Gina.
So we're still waiting for Adam Glens to enter the ring for beef market beef class number 5.
He's out there. Okay. So we're good. Good then, Dean. Okay. Thank you.
All right, we're going to have Gina step back in because, Gina, when you and I were talking, that's when the internet crashed. So we didn't get to answer the question. Okay, so we can see this right now, right up and close. They're scratching. Yep, they're scratching.
Oh, yeah.
So what does that do?
So that scratching or rubbing motion is honestly just a way to keep the animal calm.
Okay.
If you think about it like when you get a massage, and if you have that constant, gentle pressure that is like, is constant in terms of its speed, then that's helping calm the animal down. It's also drawing the animal's attention to where it's being touched. So there's a lot of extra distractions with people in the audience. The judge has to come up and touch it sometimes. So that's keeping its attention there and maybe not being distracted by something else.
Now, Gina, they're always rub it on the brisket, but I've seen some exhibitors, they do it on the back. Is that just the same premise, different spot?
Yes, yep,
okay.
Same premise, different spot. Sometimes if they rub a little bit on the back, they're trying to get the animal to draw its top down because we want a nice, level, flat top. So sometimes you might see them scratch the top a little bit, and then if they go back down to that brisket, it's just easier to scratch the brisket because I don't have to extend my arm so far to reach the back.
Sure. And then they also use the other end, or the pokey end. We'll see if the exhibitor is going to do it. Now, the one right in front of us has a little brush on it. Oh, there he goes. Of course, but they use that, though, to move their feet, right?
Yeah, so if you look at the end of the show sticks, there's a pointed end and then there's a second end that's curved. That curved end allows the exhibitor to reach to the back legs, and so if they need to pull a leg forward, now you might be able to see it. No, maybe not. They're able to pull the leg forward using that hook, and then they can still use that pointy end to push on the foot if they got to put a foot back.
Okay. What's the judge looking for?
Depth, width, length, and big butts.
Big butts, huh? All right. So we like big butts.
We do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And is it also like with the hogs, the way they walk? Because you can have something very big, very long, but it may be overdone.
Definitely. It's not quite, we want it to walk well. We don't want to see anything limping or swelling or being too stiff or too loose. But with these big, heavy animals, we're looking at 1,300 pound steers right now in front of us. The walking's important, but it's really how they stand at this point, right? Because when we walk versus stand, that's a different amount of weight on all of our joints and everything, and we feel that more when we stand.
Okay.
So their stance is actually really important when it comes to these big animals.
And just like dairy, hold the head up.
Hold the head up. A difference between beef and dairy that you're going to see is beef exhibitors walk forwards, and they use their right hand on the halter when they lead. And when we show dairy, you have to walk backwards, and you've got generally it's your left hand on the halter. So maybe when you tune into the dairy show tomorrow, you'll notice it's backwards.
And we'll have to talk to you about that tomorrow, hopefully during the dairy show.
Sounds great.
All right, Gina, we're going to let you get back to work on the ribbons.
Sounds good.
Thank you very much. And now, did you ever?
I did. I did my last 2 years of eligibility through 4-H and FFA. So I did a little bit. I showed hogs all of my years through 4-H and FFA, but then my last 2 years as a student, I wanted a little extra challenge. So I did try a beef steer twice.
Steer wants to go right, you need it to go left. What do you do?
Well, hopefully you've worked with it enough and it's calm enough and you remain calm that those generally things don't happen. But again, it's a show. There's a lot of extra distractions and things they're not used to. The easy thing is like sometimes when they get a little fractious, a little bit like that, then you want to give them maybe a little bit of extra lead. But the big thing is you kind of have to go
Class
with
number
them
6
because
should be
I'm not
on
going to
deck.
out muscle
So that
a
includes
1,400-pound animal.
Ready?
Right.
Sydney
All right.
Spade,
All right, Gina,
Jessica
thank you
Lejeune,
again.
Yep,
Anthony
thanks.
Glenn,
Again,
Cole
Gina
Ludwigson, and
Bergen
Adam
coming
Glenn
in.
should have their animals behind the Coliseum.
Giving us some of the what's happening inside the ring this afternoon. We continue now with our show. It looks like it might be even a little bit of rain falling here in Chippewa Falls this afternoon. As our class continues to they continue to judge here, whittling down exhibitors down to where we're at again. Welcome back. I know some of you on our YouTube channel. Yeah, we lost internet here a little bit ago, but looks like it's all back to normal, so that's good. Apologize for that. We lost our connection. And, well, when it happens, it happens. Kind of like when a steer decides I'm going left. Too bad, Brian. I know you need me to go right, but I'm going left, and we're done. Just got to kind of try to work through it. Okay, there were 9 in this class, so we continue. Whoa, look out. Everybody's up close and personal now. Okay, we'll all just stay calm. The announcer included. It's like we have our class. Everybody's
Steers that really are where they need to be. Really big, beefy, volume steers, have a lot of mass and a lot of muscle to them in this particular class. I'm sure that trend will probably continue if we keep moving forward. Steer we're going to start out with, again, maybe not the thickest steer in the particular class by any means, but I think he's the most complete, the most balanced, the most eye-appealing. He's definitely got the right amount of finish on him. The steer's got a lot of natural thickness to him on the profile. He's really attractive. I think just the most complete steer in this particular class. The steer we follow him with, maybe not quite as attractive from a profile, but a steer when you look down his top and down through that lower round, maybe just a touch wider, touch thicker down through that round than the steer we have at first. But 2 really nice steers to start the class with. The red broken pattern or the semi-natural color, semi-appearing steer, a steer you really like from a profile. He's got a lot of natural thickness to him. In just my opinion, I think he just needs a touch more finish on him to get him to where he's got a great choice. He's going to hang a tremendous carcass, but ideally he could use just a hair more to really make him really, really pop. Red calf, a really big performance-oriented type of calf, a true beef steer. Again, maybe not quite as eye-appealing, maybe not quite as balanced, maybe not quite as correct off those front lanes, but you really have to admire the muscle, the mass, the degree of finishing he has. He's going to be a true carcass steer when he goes to the rail. The next young lady's steer. A steer that I think has a lot of mass, a lot of muscle to him, really compact as far as his overall makeup. A steer, I think he's just getting a little softer up through that front end. He's getting a big old brisket on him. He's getting a little softer over the ribs, but I think he's where he's going to be. He's going to be a really good eating steer when he goes to the rail. The chocolate colored steer, big outline steer. Steer though that when I evaluate him, I like his muscle. He's another one, just needs a little bit more time. Get him to bloom up a little more, get a little more finish on him, drop the flank, and so on to get him where he really needs to be. Next calf is just a little more plain in this type and kind, but it has a lot of natural thickness to him. It's like a couple of those others I talked about, has some true performance to him, has some muscle, has some mass. You know, steer is just a true performance type of steer. You can have a whole feed yard full of those, and they're going to make you money. The next calf we kind of round the class out with, a calf that just doesn't have quite as much shape down its top, down through that lower round. Maybe could have just a little more finish on it to get it to kind of bloom up and pop a little more to compete with the steers ahead of it. But a really big outline, really attractive steer that's really got a lot of performance to him. Good job.
First blue exhibited by Levi Lindsay, second blue exhibited by Trayson Bovey. Next we'll be having our market class number 6 entering the ring. In this class we should have 8 exhibitors, weight ranges from 1345 to 1460.
And again, continuing coverage of our beef show here at the Northern Wisconsin State Fair as it continues. And again, thank you to our sponsors as well, including Wisconsin Credit Union, Chippewa Valley Energy, Provisions Health of Durant 24/7, and West Wisconsin Telecom. Pierce Pep and Co-op Services, Numbers Are Us, O'Galley Cheese Factory, Bluff Country Feed and Seed, Compeer Financial, and Synergy Co-op. And again, thank you to all of our sponsors for supporting our video stream today from the fair. We'll have continuing coverage as well tomorrow with the dairy show at 9 o'clock and then the livestock auction coming up as well tomorrow evening at 6. And we'll have that not only on our Facebook page, but also our YouTube channel as well, and website at realcountry1430.com.
On deck, we should have market class number 7. There's 5 entries. You should be meeting behind the Coliseum. Trayson Bovey, Rachel Laird, Bronson Lugbertson, Axel Teagles, and Rachel Laird.
Well, you know, most of us celebrate the holidays with food, of course. Christmas, Thanksgiving, Mom's Day, Father's Day. But did you know that Super Bowl Sunday is the most expensive holiday with food? $107 billion. $107 billion we spent for Super Bowl Sunday. Well, you know, when you have the whole day of, you know, pregame, this, that, and the other thing, and then the game, you're going to go through a lot of food. But $107 billion just for Super Bowl Sunday. As we continue on with our market classes, we still have dairy steers to get through as well this afternoon. And be listening for farm news throughout the day, Monday through Friday on WRDN. We have 7 hours of farm news on the station throughout the day. It all starts out at 5 a.m. with the WRDN Morning Farm Report from 5 to 7. We have farm news, farm markets, dairy news with Bill Baker, and also some great classic country music too. And then hourly markets during the 9, 10, and 11 o'clock hours. Our noon farm show starting at about 12:30. And then from 1 until 3 is Agri Talk with Chip Flory. He has the latest news and issues affecting rural America and the markets as well. And then from 3 until 4, it's Mike Pearson with AOA. That's America on Agriculture. During the 4 o'clock hour, getting a complete rundown of the markets and what happened during the day with Susan Littlefield and the Fontenelle Final Bell. That's at about 4:30. And you can listen to all of our farm programming on Real Country 1430 AM stereo and 107.3 FM WRDN. If you are out of our over-the-air listening area, that's okay. Log on to our website at realcountry1430.com. Listen to our streaming audio. And the streaming audio is right in the upper left-hand corner. You can also, on your Alexa, download the Live 365 app and then ask Alexa to play WRDN. If you have an Apple product, you can also download the TuneIn app and just do a search for WRDN as well. We're even on a Roku through the Live 365 app. So plenty of ways that you can listen to our 7 hours of farm programming Monday through Friday on Real Country 1430 AM stereo, WRDN, and along with 107.3 FM. So we continue our beef show this afternoon. We go again, Bob. Yep, there we go. That's what happens when you get a front row seat. This reminds me of when I used to do high school hockey. I worked at a station in Toma, and we'd be right on the glass. And those kids would come flying into the corner, and boy, all of a sudden you have two hockey players right in your face, and you're thinking they're coming through the glass, and they're not. But that's kind of what this feels like here. It's just like we are up close and personal. As long as the fence holds, I guess I'll be okay. Steers deciding to say hello.
Market class number 7 should be on deck.
steers are getting up there in weight, really performance, got a lot of meat, a lot of mass, a lot of muscle to them all the way down through. You have to really admire the performance that some of these steers have. I kind of joked with the two young ladies here in second, third number. One of them was 1400, the other was 1410. I said the first one I think was 1400. I said he liked his feed trot. The next one was 1410, if I remember correctly. I said, well, he liked it just a touch better. And I got a laugh and smile on both of them, so that's good. That's what we're having fun out here. Steer we're going to start out with, the Hereford steer, I think just the most high-feeling, the most balanced, the most complete steer in this particular class. You really admire him in the profile. You get behind him. He sure doesn't disappoint. You handle him. He's where he needs to be from a career finish standpoint. For a steer that weight, he's not getting soft by any means. A steer that he just really kind of runs this class pretty easily. Second, third gets a little closer. I think you got two steers there that have a few trade-offs. They're both very similar as far as type and kind. Both very heavily muscled. Both have a nice profile. Both really need to be from a finish standpoint. Again, if you were selling a whole pot load of those, they're going to be making you money because they're just that type of performance type of cattle. Kind of split them a little bit. I think the steer in second maybe just a little bit wider down his top. At least in my opinion, in the steer we have in third, the steer in third maybe a little bit straighter down his top. So there's some trade-offs in those two steers in that second and third spot. Next two, big wide top steers, I mean, have a lot of muscle to them. You just look down their top, I mean, they're just big and wide and stout. You look at them in the front, they're wide based. You look at them from the back and they're wide based. Two steers that maybe just don't have quite that eye appeal, that show steer look to them that the steers ahead of them do, but I'll tell you what, there's two steers that go the rail are going to really cut out a lot of red meat and really have done well. I mean, they really appear to be those fast gaining, really good doing type of steers for these two young men. Very nice steers. Keep up the good work. Next young man steer, you just kind of got out of horse. You got a pretty good steer. It's got some muscle. He's correctly finished. You just got steers maybe just a little bit bigger, a little bit wider base, you know, especially down their top and down through their round. But he's still a really nice steer, even though you're down the class quite a ways in this particular class. So keep up the good work. Two bigger frame steers to kind of wrap the class out. A black steer, you know, he's got some finish, just doesn't have as much natural thickness or natural base width, maybe not as much bone to him as the steers we have ahead of him. And the red steer we're going to wrap up the class with. The steer just needs more time on feet. I handle him, he's just really opening his rib yet. We like the big outline in that particular steer, but just needs more time on feet to compete with the steers ahead of him today.
First blue is exhibited by Sydney Spade. Second blue by Cole Ludwigson. Next we'll be bringing in our final market beef class. This is market beef class number 7. We have 5 entries in this class. The steers range in weight from 1535 to 1575.
Real big boys coming in now. Dairy steers will be on the way coming up as well. And continuing coverage of the 2023 Beef Show here at the 125th Northern Wisconsin State Fair.
After the placings for market class number 7, we're going to bring back our first blues in the ring to select our grand champion steer. Second blues be on deck to jump in if the steer in your class was selected for grand champion. So behind the Coliseum, we need to make sure that we have Emmett Breck, James Marr, Liberty Faber, Olivia Wamble, Levi Lindsay, Sydney Spade. Make sure that you are ready to go. Second blues be on deck and ready to go.
Again, as we continue our coverage here, getting closer to maybe our grand champion steer in the market class. We'll also have dairy steers coming up too. And once we're done with all of that, then we will be stepping away until tomorrow morning with the dairy show. We'll be here for that with our coverage beginning at about 7:55 tomorrow morning And the first class at about 8 o'clock, and then tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, we'll have the livestock auction as well from the Northern Wisconsin State Fair. Next week, first we head to Wisconsin Farm Technology Days in Baraboo, and then it's off to the Wabasha County Fair in the last half of the week. Then the week after that, we'll have more livestock show coverage as well from the Dunn County Fair in Menominee. After the Dunn County Fair, next up it will be the Buffalo and Pepin County Fairs. And then wrapping up our fair seasons and our coverage will be at the Pierce County Fair in Ellsworth. So we'll have livestock shows from all those fairs on our YouTube channel, also on our Facebook page, and our website at realcountry1430.com. You're a NASCAR fan, WRDN is pleased to have coverage of NASCAR Xfinity and also the NASCAR Cup Series throughout the entire year. This weekend we're in New Hampshire. We'll have the Xfinity Series race on Saturday afternoon and the NASCAR Cup Series race on Sunday afternoon. You can listen to that on WRDN and on our website. Yep, we can stream the races through our website at realcountry1430.com.
I'd like to make sure that we thank and appreciate Lisa Photography for taking all of our pictures of our livestock exhibitors, both the candid and the exhibitors with their animal they're planning on selling. Which also brings up a good reminder of beef exhibitors, please make sure you get a picture taken of your market steer before the show is over.
We'll have coverage of the livestock auction tomorrow evening. 6 o'clock is the auction. We'll start our coverage at about 5:55. Continue to whittle a class down.
As we get into these big, heavier steers, we start to get them, you know, they got a lot of mass, they got a lot of muscle, they got a lot of performance, they got a lot of things they like, but at the same time, we got to keep them at a correct degree of finish and not get them up into those yield grade 4s and so on, where there's a lot of excess condition or a lot of extra finish. Yes, they're probably going to have a lot of quality, which we want, but at the same time, there's a lot of waste and package. Do not want those upper yield grade 4s and yield grade 5s from a cutability standpoint. I think we've got a steer up here, and he's heavy. He's still got the correct amount of finish. He's not probably the thickest steer in here. He's probably not the thickest steer we've seen all day, but I think he's the most balanced, correctly finished. He's got a lot of muscle and really put together well to win this particular class. The steer in second, very similar. I just don't think he maybe has quite as much natural thickness down his top. He's maybe not as true getting around the ring as far as off his front end, a little bit steeper off the shoulder, but a steer is going to have a lot of pounds of meat, a lot of really good product in that particular steer, and still have some cutability. The next steer, a steer that just doesn't have quite as much volume and dimension to him as the two we have up ahead of him. I still think he's about where he needs to be from a finish standpoint. He's not getting soft. The next two steers, when I handle those particular steers, you look around their tail heads and look up in those briskets, really steers that have a lot of product to them. They're going to be really good eating steers, but steers that are just a little bit past where they need to be from a finish standpoint to be ideal. So they're going to eat good. They got a lot of performance, got a lot of pounds. Just getting softer. I like to have them up as far as from a finish standpoint. Really performance type class to finish up the
First and second blue exhibited both by Rachel Laird. Now we'll be selecting our Grand Champion and Reserve Grand Champion market steer. Following that, we'll be moving into our dairy steer classes. First blue in market class number 1, we need Emmett Breck. Next we need market class beef number 2, James Mark. Market class number 3, Liberty Faber. Market class number 4, Olivia Wample. Market class number 5, Levi Lindsay. Market class number 6, Sydney Spade. And market class number 7, Rachel Laird. Remember, if you're second blue, please have your animal on deck.
All right, this is for a Grand Champion steer in the market class. All 7 classes are class winners. Again, this is for Grand Champion Market Class Steer.
Let's start out by giving all the steer exhibitors a real nice round of applause for nice steer. Like any county fair, you're going to have, you're going to have some steers that needed more time on feed. You're going to have a few in that last class who are probably a little bit overdone. But I always tell kids, you have to remember one thing. Me as a cattle feeder, if my cattle need to have another 2 or 3 weeks or another month on feed, I just feed them that long. As they get to where they're getting plenty fat, we move them out the door. We put them on a truck and get them out of there. With a county fair or state fair or any show you go to, you have a pinpoint date, which sometimes makes it difficult to have that steer the ideal finish that you want him on that particular day. You get those really good eating steers, they're going to keep growing, and they're going to probably get real heavy, maybe get a little overdone. You're going to have some of the lighter ones that you say, geez, I wish I had a little more time, but when you have an end date, today's the day. When July 12th is the day, you can't say I got to feed them 2 weeks more or 3 weeks more, and I can't say I should have sold them a month ago. It doesn't work that way. So sometimes you need to pick a steer and feed them accordingly, and sometimes it doesn't always work out just exactly as you had hoped it would, just getting that particular animal to the proper end point on this particular day. Out here in the ring, though, I think we've got, a wide range, obviously, of weight, starting down in the 1,000 pounds, 11, some 12s, 13, and even 14 and a 15 something out here. So we've got a wide, a range of weights and a wide range of degrees of finish out here. But most of them are kind of in that ballpark where I think they need to be. With that said, then I think, you've got to look at what the packers kind of want in this day and age. At one point, if you had a 900-pound carcass, you really got pounded with it. I mean, they just didn't want the real heavy cattle. Today's industry, cattle shortage, you want a little more products, so they're kind of leaning a little bit towards heavier cattle and not complaining about them at this point. So, you keep that a little bit in the back of your mind as well. But to what point? You still want the one that's correctly finished, got the most muscle. The one in my mind is the one that's probably the most complete out here today from a finish, muscle, eye appealing standpoint. And I think most of them out in this final drive kind of fit that bill. And I'd like to commend those exhibitors for that. With that, I'm going to take a minute and I'm going to look at these. I've got my mind pretty well made up. Again, those of you out there that have been around cattle, and those of you who are parents, you're never going to like 100% of what the judge does, or you're going to critique what he does and say, well, he should have done this or he missed that, and those type of things, and that's fine. I guess it's just the way it is on this particular day. It's my decision. They're the ones that made me drive 3.5 hours to come up, so I'm far enough away from home to be the expert today. So I'm going to pick the two that I think that I like the best today. Not saying that they're going to be the best overall down the road, or if you were to send them all to a carcass show, that they'd win a carcass show or anything like that. But it's the two that I like the best out here in this particular group today. So with that said, congratulations, and I'm going to just go out here in a minute and I'll select your champion reserve. But a really nice group of steers, really nice group of kids. The crowd's been very nice. The ring people have been nice. It's really been fun to be out here. So thanks for being attentive with the kids.
our grand champion market steer exhibited by Liberty Faber. Reserve Grand Champion exhibited by Olivia Wample. Congratulations.
So Grand Champion steer, Liberty Favors have that, and Reserve Champion Olivia Wample. Congratulations to those two exhibitors. And we now still have dairy steers to come up.
We'll start with our market steers that weigh between 1,205 and 1,360 pounds. We have 6 exhibitors in this class: Calvin Willie, Keaton Breck, Taryn Close, Lily Nelson, Allison Moose, Riley Breck.
So it's dairy steer time. And this will be our, go through the dairy steers, pick our grand champion and reserve champion after all of the classes, and then we'll be done for the day today. And we'll join you again tomorrow morning bright and early at 6:55.
On deck, we need our dairy steers in the heavyweight class. There's 8 exhibitors, so if you have a dairy steer left that hasn't been judged, please bring it to the back of the Coliseum and be ready to be on deck. Madison Bovey, Ben Wicken, Taryn Close, Allison Moose, Ben Wicken, Isla Nelson, Brooklyn Willie, Riley Breck.
Yes, the dairy industry is one of the main sources of beef.
Well, good afternoon, folks. I just want to take a moment to recognize our sponsors And when we look at our sponsors, we have Soakups Market, JS Reservice, Touch of Home, Adult Family Care, Dean Associates, KSM Farms, Royal Credit Union, Fireworks Liquidators, Security Financial Bank, Synergy Cooperative, Dirk's Farms Beef, Security Bank, H&R Electric, Keneally Farm, Advantage Door, WS Darley and Company, the YMCA, Close Farms, and River Country Co-op and WRDN. Let's give our sponsors a round of applause. Now a reminder, in this show ring right now, we have our dairy steers ranging from 1205 to 1,360 pounds. Okay, beef exhibitors, that means those showing dairy steers and our beef animals. You are reminded and required to get your photos taken if you plan to sell in the auction. So I strongly suggest that you do so.
Continuing coverage of the Beef Show here at the Northern Wisconsin State Fair. I'm Brian Winnekins from WRDN Radio. And thank you to our video sponsors, including Elsivia Co-op, Security Financial Bank, Sundstrom and Company, Prime Realty of Durand, Adams Super Service, Durand, N-Tech, your premier communications and entertainment provider, and Dunn Energy, your Touchstone Energy partner. Please thank all of our video sponsors. They make our video coverage here from the Northern Wisconsin State Fair and also our upcoming fairs throughout the summer possible. So please give our sponsors a call, drop them an email, visit their business and tell them thank you for supporting these videos. Without their help, we wouldn't be here today, so please thank them. Also, special thank yous as well to the staff at the Northern Wisconsin State Fair as well. Please thank them for having us as well here at the Custer Coliseum today. Had a busy day so far today. We had our sheep show earlier today. Working through the last part of our beef show here with the dairy steers. Tomorrow we'll have the dairy show, 8:50 or 8 o'clock with the dairy show, and we'll start our coverage at about 7:55, and then tomorrow night we'll have the livestock auction, with our coverage beginning at about 5:55 tomorrow night. I'll be from the Custer Coliseum. It'll be a wonderful, wonderful evening. I just kept it all together. We are down to our final 3 here in this first class.
In this lightweight class, the dairy steers behind they all probably need more time on feed just to fill them out and get some more finish on these particular steers. One we're starting out with, though, is probably the one that just has the most finish, the most natural product to him, the most natural thickness down his top of any of the steers in here. Big, tall, outline steer, very deserving to start this particular class. Next 2 are probably a little bit of trade-offs. The one that's got a touch more finish is probably the second one. The one that's probably a little bit truer in his overall design is the steer we have in third. A little more finish probably in second, but 2 very similar type of steers in this particular class. As we move down, just calves that just are very open in their rib, just need more time. Kind of placed them on muscles we went down across based on the fact that they're not really gonna grade today. They're not what I truly consider market ready. Steers that just need more time on feed. So we place the heavier muscle ones as we go down through that particular group. But just a really nice group of dairy steers, just need a little more time on feed for so long. Good job.
We have one more class here, not mistaken.
First blue in that class was exhibited by Allison Moose, second blue by Keaton Breck. Next we'll have our heavy dairy market steers. There's 8 in this class, and they range in weight from 1,280 pounds to 1,570 pounds. Following the placing of this class, we'll be selecting our grand champion and reserve grand champion dairy steer. So we need our first blue to be ready to come into the arena and our second blue on deck.
So again, this is our heavyweight dairy steer class, and then we're going to have our grand champion and reserve grand champion dairy steer here coming up. And that will wrap up our coverage this afternoon from the Northern Wisconsin State Fair. We'll return tomorrow morning at 7:55 for the dairy show. Been a wonderful afternoon today. Sheep show first, then the beef show after that. So it's been a wonderful, wonderful day today. Hope you enjoyed our coverage throughout the afternoon. Continuing to whittle down the class.
Did something right feeding that steer, or I picked the right one or the other. That was pretty good. Really nice steer though, probably the most correctly finished. I mean, he's far enough along and he's got some natural thickness to him. You look for finish on him, he's getting some, some thickness down that brisket. He's getting some smoothness over his ribs, getting some patchiness over his tail head. He's starting to get to where he needs to be, well-fed Holstein steer. Next two are pretty comparable, little trade-offs. I think the steer we have in second, probably a little bit further along from a finish when I hand him over the ribs. The one in third, the one has probably got a lot more fat up around his tail head. Thicker steers in the second spot. The next, the one that maybe doesn't have quite as much natural thickness to him is in the third spot, but two really nice steers again. As we start to slide down, steers that I just don't see having quite as much natural thickness, don't carry the width down their top, down through the round. They've got the finish on them, but the steers just don't maybe have quite as much natural thickness to them when you view them down their top and down through that round, even for dairy steers. And as we slide down to the last couple of steers are just a little bit more open, need a little more time on feed. You got a little more of the ribs showing yet on their sides. They don't have that fat. They're not starting to get smooth over the ribs and down. That finish down in the cod and finish in that brisket in the front end just need more time on feed. They're a pretty nice group of heavyweight Holstein steers. Good job.
First blue exhibited by Ben Wittgen, second blue exhibited by Isla Nelson. We're going to have our first blue from the medium weight and first blue from the heavyweight come back into the arena to select our grand champion and reserve grand champion dairy steer. Second blues be on deck to step in once the grand champion is named. All four. First and second blues, come on in. Following the selection of our grand champion and reserve grand champion dairy steer, we're going to take a 5-minute break, and then we will come back and we'll start with our beginner showmanship. Beginner showmanship are open to youth who have completed grades 3 through 6.
So once we've named our grand champion and reserve champion, that's when we'll step away, and we'll return tomorrow with coverage tomorrow morning with the dairy show, starting at about 7:55.
Let's give the dairy steer exhibitors a nice round of applause for the nice steers they brought out today. A little bit different type and kind. Used to feed these by the pot load. We've got maybe not quite as many of them around as we used to anymore, but there's getting to be less and less of them around to get a hold of. So, dairy steers are going to be heavier. They're going to be a different shape, but you got to look for the finish in them a little differently, the muscle in them a little differently. And I think all these steers have that, even though there's some lighter steers that are a little leaner. I think when you stand back and look at them, they've got the right parts. They just some of them need a little more finish on them maybe here today to get to where they need to be in that lightweight class to get them up into these heavyweight divisions. But some really nice dairy steers. I'll go out and select your champion and reserve, but let's give them a nice round of applause.
There's your grand champion's dairy steer.
Our grand champion dairy steer exhibited by Ben Wicken. Reserve grand champion exhibited by Isla Nelson. Congratulations.
Those are grand and reserve champion dairy steers as we wrap up the
We're going to take a 5-minute break.
beef
and then
show.
we'll start with beginner showmanship.
So we're going to wrap up our coverage today from the Northern Wisconsin State Fair. We hope you enjoyed our coverage throughout the afternoon. Thank you to Synergy Co-op, Compeer Financial, Bluff Country Feed and Seed, O'Galley Cheese Factory, Numbers Are Us, Pierce Pep and Co-op Services, 24/7 West Wisconsin Telecom, Provisions Health Durand, Chippewa Valley Energy, West Wisconsin Credit Union, Alcivia Co-op, Security Financial Bank, Sundstrom and Company, Prime Realty, Adams Super Service, Entech, and Dunn Energy. Again, we hope you enjoyed our coverage this afternoon. We will be back tomorrow morning at 7:55 for the Dairy Show from the Northern Wisconsin.